how you doing? It's Henry at Motors and Blowers. Today we're gonna find out if we can get this going. As you guys know, I got this for free. Free! That's right, free. From a recent dumpster pick at Motors and Blowers. No front wheels. I think it's a Mac.
I don't even know. There's nothing going on.
Engine, wheels, scores.
Just at all, okay?
They're missing quite often. I don't know why. Let's try this first, see if it's. Got this LT 4000 lawn tractor. I put this old hood on because it was lying around my backyard. I do have another seat. I've got a shifter knob for that. And it has apparently a working engine. However, it's off its engine mounting bolts, so it's just wobbling free. So I think I'm gonna try to get this going today because we already got the engine running for the LT 160 John Deere tractor that I finally finished. My idea was, in case that couldn't get that engine going, I was gonna put this engine on there. But since we got it going, why not try to get this going? Yes, I already have a hauler, but honestly, while the engine seems to run just fine and it started up today, I need the battery from this to test if that thing works. Also, this has decent wheels, decent front wheels, which that needs. I don't plan on selling this thing, not to mention the fact that I've listed it for like 3 months and nobody has wanted it. Of course, I do have it for $300, but it's got lights and switches and stuff like that. It's got a spare engine, headlights. It's got some decent parts on it, but the transmission doesn't seem to work very well. Not the transmission, but the shifter that I made. Sometimes it works good, sometimes you can't even budge it. You can't even get it out of gear. My friend Rick Browerman said that maybe the belt is too tight. That could be, you know why? Because the transmission that I put on here, the pulley is way bigger than the original one, so the belt's pretty stretched. But either way though, I think the LT 4000 is a much better already done hauler candidate. Not to mention, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna try to find some engine mounting bolts and secure the engine onto the frame. Then we can worry about the battery, the connections, seeing if the starter solenoid, the ignition switch, all that stuff works to get this to at least crank and get it running. So the easiest way for me to mount this engine is to put it on its side because I need to try and find some bolts that will match the thread. The engine will not flop off because the double stack pulley is in the way. Stay. It's all right. So this has the original transmission on it. So I know that the shifting and all that works, which is completely different from that. That one has trouble shifting. It's a makeshift transmission from another model, made it fit, and it does. But I figured this would be a better candidate for getting it going. A good hauler. Okay, I successfully put on the engine mounting bolts. It was kind of a pain. The drive belt was looped around this keeper, whatever. The keeper was all bent because the guy tried to pull it off and it bent into place. I had to unbend it in place, unwrap the belt around the thing, whatever. It was a pain. And this thing wanted to fall down every time, whatever. So finally I got the 4 bolts on here. I had to fix the mechanical fuel pump on the other side because the top part came off, and so Yeah, I had to finagle this little clip into the thing, and I don't even know if it works or not, but I did connect the fuel line from the back gas tank to the mechanical fuel pump. But right now, just to test for the very first time, I'm gonna get a gravity-fed fuel tank, put some gas in it, let it trickle directly into the carburetor so that we know if it starts, it's great. If it doesn't start, it's not because the mechanical fuel pump doesn't work, right? I don't think there's any gas in there. Like I said, the oil is like brand new, like it just went through an oil change or something. It's like brand new, not even brown, just like right out of the bottle. That's what it looks like, which is very suspicious, you know what I mean? So anyway, we're gonna put some gas in the gas tank, let it trickle down here. I'm gonna first blow a little bit of jism in here. I took the battery from the Dayton hauler, put it in there, connected it, and check it out. Will it crank? It sure does crank, and it sounds healthy. So let's try some jism first and see if it just at least turns over. I know it does because we did it before. Off choke, spray some. Oh crap! I just put lubricant in there. Oh, that couldn't hurt. Maybe a little. Why is it bubbling? Hopefully this will blow it out. All right, we're choking it. We're gonna now try to still at it. Nice. Engine sounds pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I know you know what I'm saying. Let's put some gas in here. By the way, did I mention it was hot? Yeah, it's hot. Just enough for testing. I'm not going to put too much in here. About an inch. So far, no leaks in the carburetor, which is amazing. All right, what do you guys think? Think it'll run and continue running on its own? Or do you think the carburetor is probably going to need cleaning? Let's find out right now. Trickle, trickle, trickle. So I think the throttle's kind of stuck. You noticed that when we first started it, it really revved very, very high. And then when I pulled it all the way down, it still revved high even on idle. But how about it? Carburetor seems to be clean, runs well. It's really loud though, but I don't see any holes in the exhaust. So it's really strange. But how about it? Starter works, engine works, carburetor's clean, runs on its own, throttle's a little sticky, it's got good oil in it. We have to test and see if the mechanical fuel pump works or not, but the solenoid works, the ignition key works, transmission works, pedals, everything seems to work. So it just needs a little bit of TLC to get this thing dialed in and tuned up. It's so hot today, I'm about to pass out. You can probably tell I'm very, very sweaty and very uncomfortable. But today's like 95 degrees, so what are you gonna do? I just couldn't sit at home. I wanted to get this thing going. We got it going. This is great. We're gonna turn this into a full-fledged hauler because it's a lot more reliable in terms of the shifting of the transmission as opposed to the Dayton. So I'm gonna take all the good shit off the Dayton and put it on this one. We'll have a good hauler to move forward with. Anyway, it's too hot. I gotta go inside. When I come back out tomorrow or something like that, we'll adjust and test to see if the fuel pump works. If so, we'll put some gas in the rear gas tank and see if it runs on its own. Then I'll dial in that carburetor, clean up the throttle maybe, and so that the throttle works perfectly. And then we'll swap out some tires and shit like that, you know. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. Man, let me tell you, the sun these days is very strong. I walked in the house yesterday and my daughter says, "Oh my God, look at your back." Blisters all over. Anyway, I gotta keep the shirt on, man. I took off the air cleaner base to the carburetor and I wanted to know why the throttle wouldn't move, so check it out. Here's the throttle linkage right there. It's completely seized. This part right here, you can't even move it. Look, it's seized into this position, closed. And how did it even run so high before when it's closed? Anyway, I gotta spray it. Just gonna use some carb cleaner and spray these joints here, the hinge. There we go. Spray some lubricant on the hinge or the part where it turns. That ought to do it. Not bad. Surges very little, but adjusting the air-fuel mixture and the idle circuit was pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to test the mechanical fuel pump. Ouch. See, something so simple just scarred me. I'm going to reconnect the mechanical fuel pump to the carburetor now. So I just reconnected the fuel line to the carburetor that's connected to the mechanical fuel pump. And then to start it off, you take this hose out and you blow into it as hard as you can to inflate the rear gas tank. Kind of pushes out a little in there. And then when it releases, the fuel will suck through here, and then it came out that other end. So now at least your fuel line is now primed with some fuel. So less cranking to try to get it into the fuel line. You're just manually priming yourself. So let's see if it starts and runs by itself on the rear fuel tank delivery with the mechanical fuel pump. So it's going to crank a while, I'm sure. But it still should have gas in the bowl. Maybe it's not getting any fuel. See, it just used up all the gas that was in the bowl. As you saw, I took apart the mechanical fuel pump. It had all kinds of crap in it, rusted stuff in there, cleaned it all out, made sure that the diaphragm was nice and rubbery, sprayed some lubricant in where the springs and mechanical part moves, and also cleaned out with carburetor spray the valves basically on the other side. And so then when I reconnected it again and tested it, fuel was flying out of here, spraying out of here, because this fuel line was really loose, you know, from overuse, so it stretched out the hole.
That's what she said.
Anyway, so I replaced the fuel line. I got a new fuel line on here. Now it doesn't spray out stuff, and it works. Check it out. Now it runs great, sounds great, idles fantastic. Mechanical fuel pump is working, getting gas from the rear gas tank as it was intended. You can get rid of that gravity-fed testing fuel tank right now. I'm gonna put 2 tires on the front, pump up the backs, change the seat. You can see I put 2 used tires on here and put clips on there, because before there weren't any clips and they would just slide right off. So now I put some fix-a-flat in all the tires, and then I swapped out a seat. Look at this seat, Got one that's similar, screwed right on, 2 seconds. And the final piece, the shifter knob. I have this from another LT1000. I hope it fits. Either way, if it doesn't fit, just like this is fine. Better a knob than no knob. There you go. So now my free CRAFTSMAN 2 hauler with a 14 horsepower original KOHLER command engine working with the mechanical fuel pump in the rear fuel delivery system. All I did was just put a battery on there. Tuned it up, got a hood for it, put some front wheels on there, exchanged the seat, which I taped up because it was all cracked, and put a shifter knob on here, put a key in there. Now this thing starts up and runs pretty well. Let's go for a ride. It's garbage day tomorrow. There we go. Runs great. Sixth gear, let's go. Ease off, ease, ease, ease. Whoa. Yeah! Riding around another free tractor. Last hauler I had was the Dayton. Before that, I had a CRAFTSMAN LT1000 hauler that I sold to that guy who donated to the marching band of Lindenhurst. You guys remember that? I think I sold that for 300 or 400 bucks. I don't know. This is a pretty good engine. I'll list it for 400 bucks or 375, and if I don't sell it, I don't care, because I have a spare KOHLER command engine in there and it runs great. The steering is very stiff. This is hard to open, so I'm not going to show you. You guys have seen enough of that engine. I'm going to put some lube on the steering sector. How about that, huh? We fixed a tractor in one episode. When has that happened recently? We found this CRAFTSMAN 2 LT4000 in back of a dumpster. I brought it home, put some wheels on it. You guys know the rest. We got a good hauler now, listed for 400 bucks. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. And also, if you can, donate $1 or $2, paypal.me/mowersandblowers, or buy one of my stickers or contribute some parts to the channel. That gives me all the reason to keep going and creating small engine related content just for you. Hope to see you guys soon again. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
Mowers and blowers.
Mowers and Blowers.